Part 20. If the confession fails, chase her bestie. Author, Ren Shenkui Ken Ru Xiahua. Chapter 191. Could it be that Xiao Yueliang is really angry? He couldn't help but think that the message Xiao Yueliang sent him yesterday seemed to blame him for not accompanying her. After thinking about it, Li Yuan finally called Zhong Tingyu. The phone rang for nearly 30 seconds before it was connected. Li Yuan pretended to be relaxed and asked, "Xiao Yueliang, what are you doing?" Zhong Tingyu's voice on the other end didn't seem very happy. "Dating a handsome guy, senior, do you have something to talk to me about?" As soon as Li Yuan heard this tone, he knew that Zhong Tingyu was really angry. He immediately felt guilty. The day before yesterday, Zhong Tingyu had close contact with him and confirmed their relationship. "I haven't seen her for the past 2 days, and I haven't chatted with her much." As a proud girl, it would be strange if she wasn't angry. It's not enough to describe it as hot and cold. If he put himself in her shoes, he would doubt whether the other party had succeeded and didn't cherish her. No, it seems that he hasn't succeeded completely yet. Li Yuan pretended to smile and joked, "Xiao Yu, which handsome guy are you dating?" Zhong Tingyu snorted, "Someone downstairs confessed to me. I'm considering whether to go down. Senior, can you give me some advice?" Xiao Yu was confessed. Li Yuan was confused, and suddenly felt a little flustered, and then angry, as if he was poached. Li Yuan thought Zhong Tingyu was joking. "Xiao Yu, are you serious?" Zhong Tingyu snorted, "Of course it's true. Senior, do you think that I shouldn't be pursued by anyone? Or is it that I'm not pretty and no one is pursuing me?" Li Yuan smiled awkwardly, "Of course not, it's just a little sudden. If a perfect goddess like Zhong Tingyu is not pursued by anyone, then there is a problem. She is not like Xia's Haijin, who, because of her personality and family, not only does she not dress up, but also always walks with her head down. Even so, if he acted early, Xia's Haijin's beautiful face would still be discovered by other students if he was a few days late." There was a hint of playfulness in Zhong Tingyu's tone. "Senior, you haven't answered me yet. Should I go down?" "He has been waiting for more than half an hour." Li Yuan asked back, "Xiao Yueliang, are you angry with me?" "Humph, I am a little girl, how dare I be angry with the great writer Li, nor dare I waste your time. I am just alone in the dormitory, bored, and like to think about random things." Zhong Tingyu was really angry. The hidden meaning of her words was to blame Li Yuan for not accompanying her. Li Yuan's heart tightened, and he apologized quickly, "Xiao Yueliang, I am really busy these 2 days. I will go back to school soon. Wait for me." Hearing that Li Yuan was going back to school, Zhong Tingyu's mood suddenly brightened, and her tone became much more lively. "He, senior, don't force yourself. I can do it alone. Xiao Yueliang, hang up first, wait for me." After Li Yuan hung up the phone, he hurriedly washed up, then drove the BMW X6, first went to the mall, bought a limited edition Chanel bag worth 16,000 yuan, and prepared to give it to Zhong Tingyu as a gift. "Apologize, just apologize, how can you not apologize?" At this time, in the dormitory a -1314 of Miwan. Zhong Tingyu hung up the phone with Li Yuan, and her face regained a smile. She was indeed a little angry in her heart. She had obviously agreed to be Li Yuan's girlfriend and had very close contact. But in the past 2 days, Li Yuan actually ignored her. Even today on National Day, he did not express anything. She was really a little angry, the kind that could not be coaxed. Ding Shanshan leaned against the window, looking at the heart-shaped candles placed outside, and the people around, and smiled and said, "Tingyu, our finance college's Fang Zheng, who is chasing you, has been standing outside for almost an hour. He is really determined." Su Tingro also curled her lips and said speechlessly, Fang Zheng is really mean. Tingyu has already told him that she has a boyfriend, but he still pesters her. Now he publicly confesses in front of the dormitory. It is really speechless. Ding Shanshan blinked and looked at Zhong Tingyu, who was in a daze. Fang Zheng is the type who won't give up until he reaches the Yellow River. He doesn't believe that Tingyu has a boyfriend at all. Unfortunately, in the whole class, only the two of us have seen Tingyu's boyfriend, so of course they don't believe it. Tingyu, in my opinion, you should just call the great writer Li over and show them in person. After seeing the great writer Li, no one will bother you anymore. Wang Lisha, who had just returned from a trip, was very curious when she heard the word great writer Li. Shan Shan, is Tingyu's boyfriend a writer? Ding Shanshan smiled and replied, yes, he is a very powerful online writer. He is also very handsome, very stylish, and very tall. He is also Tingyu's childhood sweetheart. Wang Lisha always felt a little familiar. She vaguely remembered that Bai Wuxi also introduced her boyfriend to her in this way. He said that she was her desk mate in high school and pursued her for 3 years. They liked each other. Not only were they childhood sweethearts, but he also seemed to be a writer. What a coincidence. Zhong Tingyu and Bai Wuxi, one in Suzhou, the other in northern Anhui, both have the same story. Ding Shanshan groaned and said, Tingyu, where has the great writer Li been these days? I can't even see him. Today is National Day, isn't the whole country on holiday? What else can he be busy with? I read online that novelists are all homebodies, so he should stay in his dorm every day. How come he is on business trips so often? Zhong Tingyu glanced at Ding Shanshan. This was exactly what bothered her. If it was an ordinary time, it would be fine, but today is a national statutory holiday. What else could the company have that would make it busy today? She was a little confused, so she was a little angry. Wang Lisha asked curiously, Tingyu, your boyfriend didn't take you out today? Su Tingro interrupted, somewhat dissatisfied with Li Yuan, that's right, Tingyu stayed in the dormitory all day today and didn't go anywhere. Wuxi's boyfriend took her out, and today, he hasn't come back for a day and 2 nights. Tingyu is such a beautiful girl, her boyfriend is really big, if it were me, I would definitely take her wherever I go. Ding Shanshan also joined the ranks of denouncing Li Yuan, saying, Li Yuan is indeed a bit too much, if it were my boyfriend, I would have to forgive him for a few days. Zhong Tingyu walked to the window, directly ignoring Fang Zheng, who was singing and confessing his love with a guitar, and looked at the familiar road, wanting to see Li Yuan's figure. She found that from the chance encounter on the first day of school, to the solo dance under the moonlight, the promise of the 3 live stone, the encounter in the cinema. Her heart had been unconsciously connected with Li Yuan. She would think of him every moment and want to be with him. This feeling, she understood, was called love. Li Yuan drove a BMW, threw a pack of Zonghua cigarettes to the gatekeeper, and then drove the BMW into the school. The school's gates all recognize faces. His face was unfamiliar to the other party, and the license plate was not entered into the gate system, so he could only use some tricks. Parking the car downstairs of Miwan dormitory, Li Yuan, carrying the newly bought Chanel bag, just got out of the car and heard a crowd of people in front of him being surrounded. Hey, this scene is a bit familiar? It seems like the kind of crowd watching Confessions in the previous life. Li Yuan muttered. Just as he was about to join in the fun, suddenly, a flash of inspiration came to his mind, and he thought of the phone call to Xiao Yueliang. At that time, Zhong Tingyu seemed to say that someone downstairs in the dormitory confessed to her. Li Yuan thought that Zhong Tingyu said this in anger, but now he found out that it was true. Damn, someone actually came to steal my girl. Li Yuan's eyes were cold as he came to the scene of the confession. The discussions of the people around him gave him a lot of information. This boy is really determined. He has been waiting for an hour, and the girl didn't even show up. It seems that it ended in vain again. Hey, classmate, I'm a little curious, which college is the girl who was confessed to? Such a big show. I think the boy who confessed is not bad. It seems that she is from the first year of the School of Finance. It is said that she is very beautiful. She is the school belle of our school. She lives in the dormitory on the third floor with lights on. Hey, buddy, what is the name of that girl? I asked my classmates in the School of Finance, and the girl who was confessed to was named Zhong Tingyu. Li Yuan frowned and squeezed through the crowd. When he saw the boy playing guitar and singing passionately next to the heart-shaped candle, he felt like a fly was stuck in his throat. Damn it, he actually poached someone and poached me. He is Tingyu's college classmate, and he wants to get the moon first by being close to the water. He wants a tape measure. Li Yuan muttered and called Zhong Tingyu. This time, the call was quickly connected. If the confession fails, chase her bestie. Author, Ren Shenkui Ken Ru Xiahua. Chapter 192. Xiao Yueliang, I'm already downstairs in your dormitory. Zhong Tingyu's tone was still a little arrogant, and she snorted, Senior, why are you downstairs in my dormitory? Li Yuan chuckled, of course I'm confessing to you. Tisk, you're a big liar, and you don't have any sincerity in your confession. Li Yuan was shocked, Xiao Yueliang, what do you mean by sincerity? Humph, I don't care, you have to confess to me again before I agree to be your girlfriend. If you don't agree, I won't go down. Agree, you must agree. Li Yuan nodded hurriedly, and he suddenly thought that he seemed to owe Zhong Tingyu a condition. He, senior, then wait for me, I'll be down soon. Okay, I'll wait for you, I've prepared a little surprise for you. Girls' dormitory. Zhong Tingyu talked to Li Yuan on the phone, and didn't avoid several roommates, so they all knew that Li Yuan was waiting for Zhong Tingyu downstairs. Ding Shanshan joked with a smile, Tingyu, it's so late, why are you still going out for a date? Do you mind bringing a light bulb? Su Tingro said, the great talent Li is so charming. Fang Zheng confessed his love for her downstairs for a long time, but Tingyu didn't even look at him. When her boyfriend came, she immediately went down happily. Tingyu, are you going back to the dormitory tonight? You won't stay out all night like Wuxi. It's possible. Look, Tingyu's face is red with shyness. Zhong Tingyu's cheeks were flushed, and she looked at Ding Shanshan, Su Tingro, Wang Lisha and other roommates, blinking her beautiful eyes. Leave the door of the dormitory open to me at night. Ding Shanshan was surprised and smiled secretly, Tingyu, let's have a good date tonight. The dormitory will be closed in another hour. If you want to come back, it will be difficult. Let's go to the hotel directly. Tingyu, Li Yuan looks very fierce. Don't be too tired to walk at night. Zhong Tingyu glared at Ding Shanshan. What kind of tiger and wolf words are these? She is still a virgin. She left the dormitory shyly. After Zhong Tingyu left, Wang Lisha laughed and followed him out. Sisters, I'm going out too. Ding Shanshan asked in confusion, Shasha, what are you going out for again? Wang Lisha answered as a matter of course, you praised Tingyu's boyfriend so much. I want to go down and see what he looks like. He can even chase Tingyu. There are no photos of the two of them in Tingyu's QQ space. I've been anxious for the past 2 days. After hearing this, Ding Shanshan's eyes lit up and a bold idea immediately emerged in her mind. Should we follow Tingyu secretly and see what they are doing? Su Tingro asked hesitantly, this is not a good idea. If we are discovered, it will be very embarrassing. Wang Lisha waved her hand, it's okay. We will follow from a distance and should not be discovered. Besides, even if we are discovered, it doesn't matter. We are not forbidden to see people. Ding Shanshan opened the dormitory door, what are you waiting for? Let's go together. Let's go and take a look together. At the door of the girls' dormitory, Li Yuan was swiping his phone and waiting for Zhong Tingyu. Suddenly, there was a commotion around. Look, Zhong Tingyu is coming down. Is she moved by Fang Zheng? Is she Zhong Tingyu? My god, she is so beautiful, no wonder she is so arrogant. Fang Zheng is worth waiting. There is a good show to watch. I wonder if Zhong Tingyu will agree to Fang Zheng's confession. It shouldn't be. After seeing Zhong Tingyu's appearance, I think Fang Zheng is not worthy of her. No, no boy can match her. It's better to be single for life. Li Yuan put his phone into his pocket and was about to go forward to say hello, when he saw a boy who had already rushed out, holding a bouquet of flowers, and stopped in front of Zhong Tingyu. Fang Zheng was very excited at the moment. He fell deeply in love with this flawless girl the first time he saw Zhong Tingyu. Every day, he tried every means to get close to Zhong Tingyu, bringing breakfast, milk tea, snacks, flowers, and asking about Zhong Tingyu's news indirectly. Although he heard Zhong Tingyu tell him in person that she had a boyfriend, he gave up. But he was really moved, thinking that it was a test from Zhong Tingyu, and he had not paid enough. Fang Zheng said loudly with excitement, "Tingyu, you finally came down, I am so touched. I knew you had me in your heart. Here, I sent you flowers and gifts. I hope you like them." Zhong Tingyu didn't even look at him. Her eyes searched in the crowd, and instantly found Li Yuan, who stood out from the crowd, with a sweet smile in her eyes, turned her body, and was ready to leave. Fang Zheng was stunned by Zhong Tingyu's bright smile. He thought that Zhong Tingyu was smiling at him. He quickly reached out to stop Zhong Tingyu and loudly confessed his feelings. "Tingyu, I love you. Be my girlfriend." Li Yuan flashed out from the crowd and pushed Fang Zheng away directly. "Make way. You're blocking the way." Fang Zheng stumbled and almost fell to the ground. When he came to his senses, he saw a heartbreaking scene. Li Yuan came to Zhong Tingyu, looked at this beautiful face, and spoke with a little apology. "Xiao Yu, I'm sorry, I'm late." Zhong Tingyu smiled and snorted, "You still have a conscience. You know that I'm waiting for you at school." Li Yuan thought to himself, "Little girl, you are quite jealous." He handed the limited edition Chanel bag he bought when he came to Zhong Tingyu. "Little Moon, this is a small gift for you, I hope you like it." Zhong Tingyu only took a glance at the logo on the packaging bag and knew what it was. She took it calmly, looked at Li Yuan shyly, and said softly, "Thank you, senior." Li Yuan smiled, "Thank you is not sincere enough, change the way." Zhong Tingyu stared at him with beautiful eyes. "What way do you want? For example, a passionate kiss?" Li Yuan was just teasing out of habit. With so many people watching around, he did not expect Zhong Tingyu to agree to his unreasonable request. As soon as Li Yuan finished speaking, he saw Zhong Tingyu tiptoeing and quickly kissed Li Yuan on the corner of his mouth. "That's it, okay." Zhong Tingyu looked a little shy. This scene happened to be seen by Ding Shanshan, Su Tingro, and Wang Lisha, who came down to peek. Ding Shanshan covered her mouth and exclaimed, "Oh my god, Tingyu took the initiative to kiss me in public, so bold." Su Tingro also held her breath and looked at Zhong Tingyu in disbelief. She was a cold goddess in front of other classmates, but in front of her boyfriend, she actually had such a petite side. Wang Lisha met Li Yuan for the first time. Her first impression was that he was very tall and stood out in the crowd. The second thing was that he looked pretty good, very stylish, very handsome, and well dressed. She also noticed the Chanel bag in Zhong Tingyu's hand, and her heart was shocked. She couldn't help but look at Li Yuan with a higher opinion. To be able to give a bag worth thousands or tens of thousands in college, this family is not ordinary rich. It turns out that he is tall, rich, and handsome, and he is Tingyu's childhood sweetheart. No wonder he can chase Tingyu. This scene of Zhong Tingyu taking the initiative to kiss was not only seen by Ding Shanshan and Wang Lisha, but also by other men and women watching, who exclaimed and ate a big melon. "Who is that boy?" Zhong Tingyu actually kissed him. Didn't she say she didn't have a boyfriend? This is official. Of course, he must be her boyfriend. She can't kiss a strange boy. It's a bit strange. Why does this boy look familiar? I seem to have seen him somewhere before, but I can't remember for a moment. He can make the school beauty fall in love with him and kiss him. This boy is not simple. Hey, the gift he gave to Zhong Tingyu, why is the logo so familiar? That's the Chanel logo. Is it a bag? This boy is really rich. A Chanel bag, the cheapest one, costs several thousand yuan. The boy who just confessed his love has really become a clown. He prepared carefully downstairs and waited for more than an hour. The girl didn't even look at him and didn't take him seriously at all. That's right, a dog licks a dog, and in the end, he has nothing. Fan Zhang stared blankly at Li Yuan, who was holding hands with Zhong Tingyu, and listened to the whispers in his ears, mixed with sarcasm. He suddenly felt that everything he did was so funny. The efforts he made were just to move himself, just wishful thinking. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. If the confession fails, chase her bestie. Author, Ren Shenkui Kan Ru Xiahua. Chapter 193. From beginning to end, Zhong Tingyu didn't even look at him. Chapter 143. New discovery in the girls' dormitory, their boyfriends are all called Li Yuan. Fan Zhen was so heartbroken that he couldn't breathe. The onlookers were whispering, and Zhong Tingyu's roommates were secretly following. Wow, Tingyu followed Li Yuan, let's catch up and see what they are doing. Ding Shanshan called out, pulled Su Tingro and Wang Lisha, two roommates, and followed. Wang Lisha whispered, it's already 10 o'clock in the evening. They are probably just walking around the school. It's impossible for them to really go to the hotel to get a room. Ding Shanshan smiled strangely, hee, that's possible. Tingyu has kissed Li Yuan publicly. What's wrong with taking it a step further? Shasha, we are all college students now, so let's be more open-minded. Shan, Tingro, it's not that I can't let go of my mind, I just can't believe it. However, Tingyu's boyfriend is really good. He is very tall and has a good figure. He feels very compatible with Tingyu when he walks together. After Wang Lisha finished speaking, she thought of the Chanel bag in Zhong Tingyu's hand and the name Ding Shanshan said, and asked with some envy and curiosity. By the way, you said Tingyu's boyfriend is called Li Yuan. Ding Shanshan smiled and said, yes, what's wrong? Wang Lisha suddenly felt strange. She had a good relationship with Baiwuxi. It seemed that she had vaguely heard Baiwuxi calling her boyfriend Li Yuan. Li may be the same Li, but Yuan may not be the same Yuan. However, their boyfriends are both named Li Yuan, and they are both online writers. Is there really such a coincidence in the world? Wang Lisha always felt that something seemed to be wrong, but she didn't think of it for a while. She knew that Zhong Tingyu and Baiwuxi's boyfriends were their childhood sweethearts, which they both admitted. Zhong Tingyu and Baiwuxi were thousands of miles apart and had never known each other before. Maybe, probably, possibly, it's just a coincidence. Wang Lisha's brain crashed a bit, her thoughts were a bit confused, and she suddenly sighed. Tingyu's boyfriend is quite generous. The gift he gave her is a Chanel bag, which costs tens of thousands of yuan. Ding Shanshan asked in surprise, wow, Chanel bags, are they so expensive? Tens of thousands of yuan for a bag, it's a bit too exaggerated, my monthly living expenses are only 600 or 700. Su Tingro also looked at Wang Lisha in disbelief. This level of gift was beyond their imagination. Their families were very ordinary, and they had just entered college, so they had no chance to get in touch with luxury goods. They only occasionally heard of luxury brands such as Chanel, LV, Gucci, and Hermes. They knew it was expensive, but they didn't expect it to be so expensive. This price is really affordable for ordinary people? However, The two suddenly thought that Li Yuan, as the most popular online writer at present, could earn 1,000,000 yuan a month, and he was no longer an ordinary person. It seemed nothing to buy a luxury bag worth tens of thousands of yuan as a gift for Zhong Tingyu. Ding Shanshan said enviously, Tingyu is actually quite happy. Her boyfriend is her childhood sweetheart. He is very talented, tall, and handsome, and can earn 1,000,000 a month. He is simply her ideal type. She will never have to worry about anything in her life. Su Tingro nodded, who said it wasn't. I wish I could find a boyfriend like Li Yuan. Ding Shanshan said, it's a bit difficult. Li Yuan can make millions a month by writing novels, and buy a house in Shanghai. And our salary after graduating for a year is only more than 100,000 at best. The gap is too big. Wang Lisha was very shocked when she heard that Li Yuan could make millions a month by writing novels. Millions a month, tens of millions a year. So, Tingyu's boyfriend became a multi-millionaire by his own efforts when he was a freshman, and he became financially free directly? Shan, Tingro, what kind of online novel did Tingyu's boyfriend write that can make millions a month? Hearing Wang Lisha's question, Ding Shanshan asked in surprise, Shasha, you don't know? Wang Lisha felt puzzled and asked, should I know? Ding Shanshan was very speechless. They had discussed Li Yuan and the books written by Li Yuan more than once in the dormitory. Wang Lisha didn't even know that it was written by Tingyu's boyfriend. Shasha, the book Battle of the Stars we discussed some time ago was written by Li Yuan. It was very popular some time ago and was on the hot search. Ding Shanshan explained with a smile. By the way, Li Yuan is still a freshman majoring in computer science in our school. When Wang Lisha heard that Battle of the Stars was written by Li Yuan, her eyes widened. She had been discussing eating melons enthusiastically before, but it turned out that it was written by Tingyu's boyfriend. That book was actually written by Li Yuan. I really didn't expect it. Why didn't you tell me at the time? Ding Shanshan replied, you didn't ask either. I thought you all knew it. Wang Lisha asked curiously, Shanshan, you seem to know Tingyu's boyfriend very well. Have you known him before? Su Tingro interrupted, well, we met at the beginning of the school year and had dinner with Li Yuan twice. The last time, when Tingyu drank too much, we had barbecue together. Ding Shanshan muttered, these few days, Tingro and I wanted to treat Li Yuan to a meal, but this guy always refused with the excuse of being busy with work. I don't know what he is busy with every day. Is he so busy that he doesn't have to go to class? In my opinion, he must have made up excuses on purpose. Wang Lisha smiled, speaking of which, Wei 11's boyfriend is also an online writer. When she comes back, ask her boyfriend what book he wrote. They are all online writers. Maybe Tingyu's boyfriend and Wei 11's boyfriend know each other. Ding Shanshan really didn't know that Bai Wei 11's boyfriend was also an online writer. She asked curiously, Wei 11's boyfriend also writes novels? It can't be such a coincidence, right? Wang Lisha pursed her lips and smiled secretly, this is not the most coincidental. What's more coincidental is that Wei 11's boyfriend seems to be called Li Yuan, maybe it's the same pronunciation but different characters, and he is also a freshman at Xia University this year. If Wei 11 and Tingyu didn't know each other before, and their boyfriends were their childhood sweethearts. I even thought that their boyfriends were the same person. Ding Shanshan and Su Tingro looked at each other and felt very shocked and surprised. Is there really such a coincidence in the world? Why don't they believe it? A huge doubt lingered in their minds. This may even be a big shocker. If Zhong Tingyu and Bai Wixi's boyfriend are really the same person. Shocking scenes suddenly appeared in their minds. Ding Shanshan said with a smile, when Wixi comes back, we will ask her, let's not guess here. I don't know where Wixi has gone. There has been no news for the whole day. Wang Lisha replied with a smile, maybe she is living with her boyfriend. Li Yuan took Zhong Tingyu's hand and left in full view of everyone. As for Fang Zheng, the dog licker in the wind, Li Yuan just glanced at him with his peripheral vision, and his mouth twitched slightly. He seemed to see his own shadow. No, he was also a dog licker, and his experience in his previous life was better than his. Zhong Tingyu was led by Li Yuan, her heart pounding, and she didn't know why she kissed him directly in front of so many people. Maybe there is a subconscious mind in the mind, just to declare sovereignty. I also declared to other suitors that I already have a boyfriend. Senior, where are you going to take me? Li Yuan had already thought of the words on the way here. For a girl like Zhong Tingyu, he had to show his chauvinism appropriately. Li Yuan asked tentatively, I'll take you home, are you willing? Zhong Tingyu looked at Li Yuan in doubt, with a shy look on her face, and asked softly, Senior, are you going to take me back to Sicheng? Li Yuan shook his head and asked with a smile, Little Moon, do you miss home? Zhong Tingyu nodded, and replied with a look of longing, I have been in Shanghai for a month. My mother called me this morning and asked me why I didn't go home. After that, she couldn't help but peek at Li Yuan's profile. If she hadn't met him, she would probably go home obediently during the National Day holiday, keep a distance from all the boys in college, and wait for the arrangement of fate. It was him who forced his way into her heart and brought her hope. So, she was willing to wait for him alone in the dormitory. Fortunately, he did not let himself down. Although he came late, he finally came. Li Yuan's heart moved and he held Zhong Tingyu's hand tightly. He already understood why Zhong Tingyu was so angry today. Sicheng is very close to the Magic City, and it is the first National Day holiday. She should have planned to go back to Sicheng. But she must have given up going home to wait for him and waited for him alone in the dormitory for a whole day. If Baiwuxi had not fallen asleep due to overwork, he glanced at his mobile phone. Perhaps Zhong Tingyu did not wait for him to come to her all day. Then how disappointed she would be in her heart, it is already imaginable. Xiao Yu, do you want to go home? Sicheng is very close to the Magic City, and it only takes 1 or 2 hours to drive there. If the confession fails, chase her bestie. Author, Ren Shenkui Ken Ru Xiahua. Chapter 194. Zhong Tingyu glanced at Li Yuan and nodded gently. It was also her first time to leave home and come to the strange Magic City to attend college. How could she not miss home? Li Yuan smiled and said, after this period of time, I will accompany you back to Sicheng. What about now? Zhong Tingyu asked back. Li Yuan just said that he would take her home. Li Yuan smiled and said, of course I will go to my house. Do you dare to go? Zhong Tingyu glared at Li Yuan with a slightly red cheek. Late at night, your boyfriend invited you to his house. Do you think he would have good intentions? You will be eaten up. Zhong Tingyu said arrogantly, Senior, you must have bad intentions, I won't go. You are wronging me again. Li Yuan smiled and knew that he couldn't be impatient. Let's walk around the school and get some fresh air. Zhong Tingyu smiled, today's weather is not very good, it's gloomy, do we have to go to the playground? Li Yuan's eyes lit up, it's good to go to the playground, both dates left a deep impression on him. Solo dance under the moonlight, Heixi's long legs, singing Nanshan Nan. Suddenly, Li Yuan thought of Xiao Yu teaching him guitar yesterday. He can already play and sing simply. Xiao Yu, can you play the guitar? Zhong Tingyu looked at Li Yuan and nodded, I can play a little bit of various instruments, but I'm not very proficient. Why? Senior, do you want to hear me play the guitar? Li Yuan asked back, why can't I play it for you? Zhong Tingyu's beautiful eyes blinked, Senior, can you play the guitar too? I'm learning. Li Yuan thought about the dog who just played the guitar to confess to Zhong Tingyu. I think it's good to have one more skill, just in case the Shura field breaks out one day and Zhong Tingyu, Zhang Ziyu and the others leave me. At that time, I can also stand downstairs of the girls' dormitory and play an he bridge, a song that even dogs will shake their heads and smoke 2 cigarettes, to commemorate the lost youth. Damn, scumbag, don't deserve such a beautiful love. When I learn it, I will confess like you. Just like the boy downstairs just now. Xiao Yu, you won't come down when the time comes, right? Li Yuan stared at Zhong Tingyu seriously. He had an ominous premonition that the Shura field might break out soon. He felt that he could no longer hide it. He scummed 2 girls in the same dormitory at the same time, and he really couldn't think of any possibility of not being exposed. Unless, after they knew about it, they took the initiative to conceal it. But how could that be possible? Zhong Tingyu is such a proud and perfect goddess, so naturally she would not be willing to share the same boyfriend with other girls. This person is still her best friend. As for Baiwixi's reaction, she was not sure. She simply took the first blood, not at a loss, but a little profit. Zhong Tingyu naturally didn't know what Li Yuan was thinking. She bit her lips proudly, and stared at Li Yuan with her beautiful eyes as bright as stars. Senior, if there really comes such a day, I will come down. Li Yuan stretched out his little finger, come on, Pinky. Senior, you are so naive. Zhong Tingyu smiled and stretched out her slender white little finger, and hung it together with Li Yuan's little finger. Let's make a promise and stick together for 100 years. Whoever changes will be a puppy. Li Yuan imitated the movements of his childhood, stared at Zhong Tingyu seriously, and said, Little Moon, you promised me that if there is such a day, you must come down. Zhong Tingyu nodded, her eyes curved into crescents, well, I will definitely come down. Senior, you have to learn to play the guitar as soon as possible. I'm waiting for you to formally confess to me. I also want a sense of ceremony. Listening to Zhong Tingyu's delicate words, Li Yuan suddenly remembered a sentence. Confession is not a charge to start a battle, but a triumphal song for victory in the battle. It really makes sense. Li Yuan rubbed her head, hugged her in his arms, and spoke sincerely. Little Moon, no matter what happens, I will never, ever abandon you. Zhong Tingyu snorted delicately, with a smile in the corners of her eyes. Senior, what if I abandon you on my own initiative? Li Yuan answered seriously, then I will get you back, and you can only belong to me. Senior is really domineering. Zhong Tingyu smoothed her hair that was blown by the wind. He, I am very satisfied with this answer. Li Yuan took Zhong Tingyu's hand and walked on the campus. Unknowingly, they came to the BMW X6 that was parked. Li Yuan's heart moved, and he pressed the car key. The whole BMW X6 flashed once. Xiao Yu, get in the car, I'll take you to a place. Zhong Tingyu looked at the new car in front of her and asked curiously, Senior, is this your new car? Li Yuan nodded, yes, I just picked it up today. Zhong Tingyu blinked her eyes. She didn't know much about the performance of the car, but she knew a little about the brand and model of the car. The day before yesterday, Li Yuan promised to buy her a car and let her choose it herself. These 2 days, she also deliberately looked it up on the internet. This car happened to be seen by her. The BMW X6 was just launched this year, and the price is over 1 million. Zhong Tingyu chuckled, Boss Li is indeed a multimillionaire. He bought a car worth over 1 million. Li Yuan took the initiative to open the passenger seat and said, Princess, please get in the car. Seeing this, Zhong Tingyu smiled, glanced at Li Yuan, and got into the passenger seat obediently without asking where he was going. Seeing Zhong Tingyu actually getting into the car, Li Yuan was a little surprised. He had thought that the other party would refuse. Li Yuan also got on the car and said with a smile, Little Moon, there is a very beautiful place on the shore of Magic City. Can I take you to see it? Zhong Tingyu smiled and joked, Senior, I thought you would take me home directly. Have I been teased? Or is it that I am very anxious in Little Moon's heart? Li Yuan looked embarrassed, but he was thinking that although he had played poker with Bai Wuxi for a long time 3 times today, but he is now 18 years old, at a time when his physical strength is unlimited, and he recovers very quickly. Coupled with the blessing after rebirth, he is very confident that he can give Zhong Tingyu a pleasant and unforgettable night. People can have a bowl of malatang 13 times a day, so there's no reason why I can't do it. The difference in times is still a bit far. Li Yuan said seriously, Little Moon, do you think I am that kind of person? Zhong Tingyu answered without hesitation, yes. Ahem, we can't talk today. Li Yuan awkwardly started the car and drove out of the campus. Behind some huge heather ball with red leaves, the figures of Ding Shanshan, Su Tingro, and Wang Lisa were revealed. The three of them looked at each other, not knowing what to say for a moment. They also wanted to follow Li Yuan and Zhong Tingyu to see how they dated. As a result, he was gone in a car in the blink of an eye. Leave the three of them in the grass eating exhaust fumes. Is it that fast? From the time Zhong Tingyu came downstairs to the time he left in Li Yuan's car, it only took more than 10 minutes. Ding Shanshan spoke first, well, did we underestimate their hunger and leave now? If the confession fails, chase her bestie. Author, Ren Shenkui Kan Ru Xiahua. Chapter 195. Ding Shanshan wanted to go eat some melons and watch the show, but she didn't see anything. Li Yuan drove Zhong Tingyu away directly. This doesn't fit the development of the plot. We all miscalculated. Tingyu is unlikely to come back tonight. Li Yuan is really good. Tingyu is really obedient to him. How did he do it? He is so good at coaxing girls. Su Tingro was amazed. In her opinion, even if Li Yuan is excellent, it would take some trouble to chase a perfect goddess like Zhong Tingyu. In particular, Zhong Tingyu seemed a little angry today. But ideals are very skinny, and reality is too simple. Li Yuan easily won her over. Is this the power of childhood sweethearts plus Chanel bags? The two left together in a car. If they didn't go back to the dormitory at night, what would happen was almost imaginable. Tonight, in a hotel, there must be a pair of handsome men and beautiful women playing poker in the middle of the night. Wang Lisha's eyes were hot. She noticed that the car Li Yuan drove was a brand new BMW X6. Shan, Tingro, Li Yuan actually bought a car. It seems that he really made a lot of money. This BMW X6 seems to have just been launched this year, and it costs more than 1 million yuan. Ding Shanshan opened her mouth wide and asked in shock, a luxury car worth more than 1 million yuan. Wang Lisha nodded and explained, well, I know a lot about cars. If you buy this car in full, you have to pay 1 million yuan. Ding Shanshan said with emotion, Li Yuan is really rich. A luxury car worth 1 million yuan, I dare not even think about it, he bought it directly. If you buy another house and settle down in Shanghai, your life will be complete. With Li Yuan's ability to earn 1 million yuan a month, buying a house in Shanghai, wouldn't it be great? It's nothing, it's just a matter of time. Wang Lisha suddenly thought of what Bai Wuxi said before, and smiled. Wuxi's boyfriend seems to have bought a house in Shanghai, and she should live with her boyfriend. Tingyu, Wuxi, the two golden flowers in our finance college are both married and embrace a happy life. Only the three of us plus Mikey are still single. Shan, Tingro, I suddenly feel that we should find a boyfriend too. Go and taste the bitterness of love. Love can also be sweet. I want sweet love. After leaving the school, Li Yuan's destination was a riverside park by the river. After getting off the car, Zhong Tingyu followed Li Yuan curiously, holding his hand and asked, Senior, why are you coming to the park so late at night? Li Yuan's eyes lit up. Xiaoyu was really smart, and she hit the nail on the head. However, he looked around. Although it was already past 10 o'clock in the evening, there were still many people. It's not as safe here as in the car. Later, when everyone has left, maybe we can try. There is a very beautiful place in this park, the scenery is very beautiful. Little moon, come with me. Li Yuan led Zhong Tingyu to a sea of flowers by the river. Although it was past 10 o'clock in the evening, there were still many pedestrians stopping to take pictures beside the sea of flowers. At night, the moonlight enveloped the sea of flowers, and there were shining spots dancing in the flowers, like elves in the flowers. Zhong Tingyu looked at the picture infatuatedly. Senior, this place is really beautiful. Are those shining spots in the flowers all fireflies? Li Yuan nodded. Yes, this sea of flowers will have many fireflies at night, and the scenery is very charming. Standing here, in the city skyscrapers, looking at the river, it will make the impetuous mood become calm. Speaking of it, there are many beautiful scenery in the great rivers and mountains of the motherland, such as Huangshan, Taishan, Zhezegu, etc. We will go together in the future. Zhong Tingyu listened to Li Yuan's description and couldn't help but yearn for it. Which girl doesn't like to travel? She likes it too. She took the initiative to snuggle in Li Yuan's arms, smelling the fragrance of the sea of flowers, enjoying the breeze, and watching the performance of fireflies. At this moment, if time can slow down, it would be great. Chapter 144 Double Kill, the moon goddess falls into the urn. When I wake up from my dream tonight, there are willow banks and the morning breeze and the waning moon. The evening breeze was slightly intoxicating, and gradually there was a hint of autumn. On the chairs in the park by the river, Li Yuan embraced Zhong Tingyu in his arms, enjoying the world of the two of them. This time, his hands were very honest, and he did not have his own thoughts. Because tonight Zhong Tingyu was wearing those tight jeans, matched with this white casual top, she was a pure college student. Li Yuan stroked Zhong Tingyu's black hair and said, "Xiao Yuiyu, have you seen the car? Which one do you like?" Since he promised Xiao Yuiyu to give her a car, he would do what he said. It's just money, to him, it's just a number. All reborn, the first goal is to make money. Since you have made money and have assets of hundreds of millions, you have to enjoy it now, spend it when you should, otherwise why reborn? It's better to be a social animal. After struggling for half a lifetime, you can't enjoy it, and then play music and dance. Besides, for a perfect goddess like Zhong Tingyu, if you don't want to spend money, naturally someone will. Shanghai lacks everything except rich people. Now that he has become a scumbag and is following the old path of a prince, he must have the tolerance and generosity of a prince. If the Shura field breaks out and he is broken up, he may still be able to say good things to himself. Zhong Tingyu nestled in Li Yuan's arms, looked at Li Yuan's profile with beautiful eyes, and asked with a smile, "Do you really want to buy me a car?" Li Yuan rubbed her head and replied with a smile, "When have I ever lied to you? I'm free tomorrow. I'll accompany you to look at the car and look at the location of the milk tea shop." Li Yuan has already made plans about opening a milk tea shop. He is going to cooperate with Zhong Tingyu. Making money is a small matter, but being able to connect with each other is the real thing. If the Shura field breaks out and Zhong Tingyu leaves him, he will have a reason to find her. Hearing Li Yuan talk about the milk tea shop, Zhong Tingyu perked up and got into the mood instantly. "Senior, I have read a lot about milk tea shops these days, and I have some of my own feelings. Do you want to hear them?" When Li Yuan heard this, he realized that Zhong Tingyu was studying business administration. Although he had just started school, he did not necessarily know less than he did. "Oh, tell me. I'm all ears." Zhong Tingyu thought for a while and slowly recounted what she had learned in the past few days. "Senior, I think your idea of opening a milk tea shop and building a milk tea brand is right. Now all over the country, milk tea shops have been established in full swing, and they should be popular for a long time. Moreover, there is no well-known milk tea brand. In our school alone, there are 6 milk tea shops with various names. When there are 2 restaurants downstairs from the dormitory. If we follow what you said that day and run a milk tea chain brand, we must first take the high-end brand route, establish a certain degree of popularity, use internet trolls to promote it, create some hot spots, and let the reputation of this milk tea shop spread. Since we have taken the high-end brand route, the quality of milk tea must keep up and have its own characteristics. Product development and production, as well as the sources of various raw materials, all require special attention. Just like the most common pearl milk tea, there are different milk tea shops, and the taste of pearl milk tea is completely different. This has a lot to do with the materials used. If we open a milk tea brand, it is best to form a complete logistics channel so that you can have the same taste in different shops. Milk tea. Then there is the operation model of the milk tea shop. I think it should adopt a high-end leisure model. The space should be larger, like a storefront. It is best to leave some tables, chairs, and benches. The decoration should be exquisite, and you can't always stand outside and wait. Magic is all over the country. It is one of the places with the highest consumption, and there are many rich people. The more high-end the brand, the more people follow the herd and compare mentality, and people will definitely rush to buy it. Zhong Tingyu spoke eloquently, and Li Yuan nodded frequently. Some of the ideas she said almost coincided with the marketing methods Li Yuan saw in later generations. It is true that milk tea shops are a hugely profitable industry, but if they cannot form a brand effect, it is simply impossible to make a lot of money or even go public. Just like Chanel, LV, Hermes and other luxury brands, how good is the quality? That's not necessarily true. The main thing is that the reputation is loud enough and represents people's face. Although milk tea is not a luxury product, the same is true. Brand building is important. Only buy expensive ones, not the right ones. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. If the confession fails, chase her bestie. Author, Ren Shenkui Kan Ru Xiahua. Chapter 196. Li Yuan's eyes lit up after hearing this, and he rubbed Zhong Tingyu's head, feeling that he might have really picked up a treasure. Zhong Tingyu really has a certain talent for business, much better than him, a novice entrepreneur. Being a boss lady is more than enough, and maybe she can also work part-time as the president's secretary, and the boss lady and secretary work together. Li Yuan pinched her cheeks and teased, "Xiao Yu, what you said is really reasonable. In just 2 days, you can think of so many things, which is amazing." Zhong Tingyu was also very happy to be praised by Li Yuan, and her fair and flawless face was full of smiles. "Senior, because the time is too short, I think we should do a market survey questionnaire to ask different groups about their preferences for milk tea flavors, and various evaluations of satisfaction and dissatisfaction. Only by leveraging strengths and avoiding weaknesses can we create a good brand. I would like to ask for your opinion. I have already made a questionnaire today. When I go back tonight, I will send it to you to see." Seeing Zhong Tingyu get into the state so quickly, Li Yuan was a little amused. This is a date, not a work report. If we continue, Zhong Tingyu might want to go back to the dormitory and show him the plan. Li Yuan waved his hand and said with a smile, "Xiao Yu, there is no rush to open a milk tea shop. Let's talk about the car first. You are going to be a boss lady soon. Without a car, you are not worthy of your status. Which car do you like? Pick it up tomorrow." Zhong Tingyu snorted and smiled sweetly. She looked at Li Yuan, "He, keep it a secret, I won't tell you." "Oh, what's the secret?" "You will know tomorrow." Zhong Tingyu hesitated for a moment, stared at Li Yuan, and said seriously, "Senior, I don't need a car now, don't spend money on me. I'm going to open a milk tea shop soon. I calculated that it will cost a lot of money. It doesn't matter. Just open two less first. I must buy you a car first. Li Yuan knocked on her head, pretending to be dissatisfied. Xiao Yu, have you heard a saying circulating on the internet? Zhong Tingyu raised her head and asked, what is it? Li Yuan remembered a line in the movie X-Files 3 and laughed, a man who is willing to spend money on you may not love you, but a man who is unwilling to spend money on you will definitely not love you. Zhong Tingyu chuckled after hearing this, glared at Li Yuan, and snorted, Senior, where did you hear this kind of heresy? In my opinion, being willing to spend time with you, willing to listen to your voice, caring for you and cherishing you is the embodiment of loving someone. You just said that, too, worshipping money. Li Yuan didn't expect that Zhong Tingyu, who was influenced by such a family since childhood, would say this, and he couldn't help but look up to her. Zhong Tingyu smiled playfully again, looked at Li Yuan, and kissed him on the side of his face with a mua. Besides, Senior, you have a car, so you can be my private car driver in the future, hee hee. Li Yuan has been sneak attacked by Zhong Tingyu twice today. This is a bit of a husband's lack of authority. He decided to have a good time with this little goblin who wanted to kill people. Goblin, give me your life. Watch my first shot. Li Yuan directly pulled Zhong Tingyu down and let her lie face up on his thighs. The thin top could hardly cover the fruits of pride. Zhong Tingyu looked at Li Yuan shyly, pretending to be frightened, holding her hands in front of her bare, which made people full of protective desire. Humph, Senior, what are you going to do? Yeah, Li Yuan answered with a smirk and gave a positive answer. Zhong Tingyu had hinted several times, so why was he hesitating? Of course, he would go straight to the battle. After saying that, he kissed Zhong Tingyu's red lips directly, regardless of the fact that there were still pedestrians in the park admiring the moon and blowing the wind. The river breeze made the tourists drunk, and only the sea of flowers was used as a wedding room. Li Yuan's head was a little hazy, and his body was full of the fragrance of the moon goddess in his arms, which made the adrenaline in his body soar continuously. Little moon, you are so beautiful tonight. Li Yuan's eyes were a little blurry. Today, Zhong Tingyu's relatives did not come to visit. This is a good sign. It seems that I can explore it at night. What are the similarities and differences with Baiwuxi? This is related to his child's future learning and growth. Zhong Tingyu's cheeks were hot, curled up in Li Yuan's arms, her heart was pounding. She secretly glanced around and seemed to see passers-by looking at her. She felt guilty. How could she be a match for Li Yuan, an old driver? She looked extremely cold on the outside, but she was very shy and hot on the inside. Zhong Tingyu asked shyly, Senior, have you ever been in love before? Li Yuan's heart was shocked. Could it be that the moves he just showed were too advanced? He asked calmly on the surface. Xiao Yu, why do you ask that? Zhong Tingyu tilted her head and snorted, Senior, you have too many moves, you don't look like a novice at all. You must have been in love before. You think too much. I'm a good student, how can I fall in love in high school? If I really fall in love, I can't get into 985. Li Yuan quickly denied it. If he admitted it, he would have to send her back to the dormitory now. Even if he was sent back, it would be a pity. By the way, it seems that he didn't get into 985 by his own ability, he got in by chance. Just 40 points above the first tier line, you can go to the 985 in Shanghai. If I tell you, do you dare to believe it? Thinking of Li Yuan's magic hands, which seemed full of magic, Zhong Tingyu stared with big eyes and asked, then explain why there are so many moves? Li Yuan laughed and whispered something in Zhong Tingyu's ear. Listening to Li Yuan's explanation, Zhong Tingyu's cheeks flushed and rolled her eyes at Li Yuan. You boys are so lustful. You watched that kind of movie in high school. Li Yuan breathed a sigh of relief. Little moon, the ancient sages said that food and sex are also sex. I am a normal man, and a layman. It's normal to have this need. Zhong Tingyu blushed, her back was being pinched, and she looked at Li Yuan with a strange look in her eyes. Her slender and white little hand pinched Li Yuan's abdomen fiercely. Hiss, Xiao Yu, I have 8 abdominal muscles, do you want to take a look? Zhong Tingyu snorted, look here. Li Yuan smiled, it's not impossible here, but I suggest changing to another place so that you can see it more carefully, and you can also study it in depth. After hearing this, Zhong Tingyu's face became even redder. She was a little entangled in her heart, not knowing whether to agree. Seeing Zhong Tingyu's silence, Li Yuan knew what was going on. Sometimes, silence means agreement. If you continue to ask, it will be counterproductive. Because if a girl really wants to object, she will say it directly. Li Yuan's heart was burning, and he directly hugged Zhong Tingyu by the waist. Zhong Tingyu, who was carried like a princess, exclaimed, Senior, put me down quickly. Li Yuan smiled and did not let go. Xiao Yu, you are too light. With your weight, I can hold too. Zhong Tingyu hugged Li Yuan's neck, rolled her eyes at him, and snorted, Senior, who else do you want to hold besides me? Do you want me to introduce you to a lot of beautiful girls in our finance college? There is a girl who is prettier than me. If you know her, you will definitely like her. Li Yuan asked back, Xiao Yu, when did you learn to lie? How could I lie? The most beautiful girl in the whole Daxia University is in my arms. In this life, having you is enough. No, I was wrong. It's 3 lives and 3 worlds. As long as I have you, I will be satisfied. Slippery tongue Zhong Tingyu snorted with satisfaction. Li Yuan smiled secretly in his heart. Which girl doesn't like sweet words? No matter who is praised, it's the same. As a boy, he also wants to hear others praise him for being handsome and having a good body. If the confession fails, chase her bestie. Author, Ren Shenkui Ken Ru Xiahua. Chapter 197. Li Yuan hugged Zhong Tingyu and walked towards the parking lot. Pedestrians passing by stopped and looked sideways, seeming to wonder why they were carrying him so late at night. Could it be that they were tired from playing poker in the wild? Zhong Tingyu buried her head in Li Yuan's arms. She was picked up so easily by Li Yuan and felt the strength of Li Yuan's body. She really felt very safe. She had never been hugged like this before, but she was a little too much shy. Zhong Tingyu's cheeks were flushed. She held Li Yuan's neck with one hand and held her bag with the other. She shyly whispered in his ear, Senior, put me down quickly. Li Yuan laughed and said jokingly, why do you have to put it down? Are you afraid that I will be tired? It's very comfortable and convenient to hold like this. It feels very nice. After saying that, he grabbed a handful of Zhong Tingyu's plump butt with dishonest hands. This feeling is really great. Zhong Tingyu became even more shy, with tears in her eyes, looking like she was about to cry, you are a big pervert, you know how to bully me. Li Yuan thought to himself, what's the point of bullying now? I'll bully you properly when I get home later. Real men, always, can only see their true skills on the battlefield. Just polishing your lips will do nothing but make you drool all over your body. As if riding on Hot Wheels, Li Yuan quickly arrived next to the BMW X6 parked on the roadside. Gently put Zhong Tingyu down. Li Yuan laughed, opened the car door, bent down, and stretched out his hands, all in one go. The most beautiful princess in the world, please get in the car. Zhong Tingyu glanced at Li Yuan shyly, her body trembled slightly, and she got into the car obediently. My mood at the moment was a bit restless and very unsettled. She knew in her heart that if she wanted to get in the car, she would probably do it today. Thinking of this, Zhong Tingyu's face turned redder. Li Yuan looked at Zhong Tingyu's shy look and felt happy. Get in the car quickly, start it, and go home. Because he was impatient, Li Yuan drove a little too fast. Zhong Tingyu glanced at Li Yuan secretly and reminded in a low voice, "Senior, don't drive so fast. I'm a little scared." "Don't worry, I drive very steadily. I have never had any accidents after driving for so many years." Li Yuan calmed down and slowed down. It was already 11 o'clock in the evening, and there were far fewer cars on the road. Zhong Tingyu chuckled, "Senior, please be more serious when you lie. We just went to college and got our driver's license." Li Yuan smiled and said, "Little Moon, you have forgotten that I drove a car for many years in my previous life." Zhong Tingyu smiled and joked, "Senior, since you are reborn, you must know the future trend. What is the lottery number tomorrow? I will buy the lottery ticket and strive to become a billionaire." Li Yuan shook his head, thinking about the shady stories in the domestic lottery industry, and thought to himself, "Whoever believes it is a fool." "Little Moon, even if I tell you tomorrow's winning numbers now, do you believe it or not, the numbers for tomorrow's live lottery will still change." Zhong Tingyu understood what Li Yuan meant and asked in surprise, "Senior, are there so many shady stories in the lottery industry?" Li Yuan nodded and said with a smile, "Remove the ... dot. This is an affirmative sentence, not a question." Zhong Tingyu bit her lip and replied playfully, "What a pity. I think the dream of getting rich overnight is impossible." Li Yuan smiled and said, "That's not necessarily the case. When the milk tea shop opens, you will be a rich little woman. When the time comes, you become the female boss, and I will eat and drink with you. Little rich woman, please support me." Zhong Tingyu chuckled, and her nervous mood became much more relaxed. She smiled playfully. "Senior, if that day comes, I will support you." "Then it's agreed, you will be the one to support me from now on." Li Yuan thought in his mind that one day in the future, all of his girlfriends would become strong women worth billions. It's also nice to eat delicious soft rice by yourself. Eating different white steamed buns every day, drinking fresh milk, and eating soft rice but hard food is also very good. Now you need to take good care of your body, do a good job in fitness, and enhance your kidney power. While chatting, Li Yuan drove into the Jinxia Villa community as he expected. Originally, he wanted to get a room in a hotel, but he thought that the hotel might not be safe. If he was peeped and saw it on a website, it would be bad. In the Jinxia Shanzhuan community, in addition to the house where his parents lived, he also bought a well-decorated garden house, which he occasionally cleaned. It was fully equipped and ready for immediate move-in. In Jinxia Villa, Feiqiuai Mansion, and Jiangnan Garden, Xiazhaijian, Zhong Tingyu, and Baiwixi are in the same place and do not disturb each other. Li Yuan muttered to himself, "Am I a modern version of the hidden beauty in the golden house?" Li Yuan pulled Zhong Tingyu, who was following suit, walking in this very familiar neighborhood with excitement. He glanced somewhere and saw that the lights in his bedroom had been turned off. He thought to himself, Zhaijin and Zixia seem to have fallen asleep. Zhong Tingyu looked at the community shyly. Under the dim light, it could be seen that the greening was very good, the environment of the community was also very clean, and it was not very far from the school. She asked curiously, "Senior, when did you buy the house?" Li Yuan smiled and said, "School has just started. After I got the first month's royalties, I bought a house first." Zhong Tingyu's eyes were filled with admiration and curiosity at the same time. "Generally speaking, when you make money, shouldn't you buy a car first?" Li Yuan actually bought a house in Shanghai as soon as possible. Li Yuan opened the door and turned on the light. "Come in and take a look. I don't live in this house often. The layout of this house is the same as the one where my parents lived, with an area of about 160 square meters, but the decoration style is different. The decoration style of this house is a modern version of simple style, which is more in line with his aesthetics. Zhong Tingyu looked at everything in the room curiously, her heart beating fast. Late at night, when I go back to my boyfriend's house with him, I can already see what will happen. When I was thinking wildly, suddenly, she felt her body floating. Li Yuan hugged him again. Immediately afterwards, the lip was also covered by another lip. Clothes also began to fall rustlingly. Zhong Tingyu blushed with embarrassment, panted and stopped Li Yuan from playing the ace card, and whispered, "Senior, will you really love me forever?" Li Yuan glanced at his subordinate Dui8, and of course nodded without hesitation. Of course, not only in this life, but also in the next life. Zhong Tingyu bit her lips and said in a voice like a mosquito, "Go to the bedroom." After receiving the order, Li Yuan picked up Zhong Tingyu without hesitation and entered the bedroom. "Senior, turn off the lights, I'm scared." After playing poker, Zhong Tingyu, who had just started dating, curled up shyly in bed. Li Yuan looked at the red plum on the bed sheet with unfinished thoughts, feeling very strange in his heart. After finally getting this perfect cold goddess, he felt a sense of spiritual satisfaction. Zhong Tingyu's body flexibility is much better than Baiwuxi's. Although it was my first time to play poker, my playing skills were not bad, and I was still very immature at the beginning. But after getting familiar with it, she was able to fight him back and forth. It was not completely one-sided. Zhong Tingyu would also shout to increase his momentum. This is a little different from the first time I played poker with Baiwuxi. Li Yuan glanced at the shy Zhong Tingyu. "Hard way. Tonight is another sleepless night of war." Daxia University, girls' dormitory. Although it was already 12 o'clock in the evening, Ding Shanshan, Su Tingro, Wang Lisa, and Deng Maiki were not sleeping. If the confession fails, chase her bestie. Author, Ren Shenkui Kan Ru Xiahua. Chapter 198. Ding Shanshan laughed strangely, "Haha, I still win. It's 12 o'clock now. Tingyu will definitely not come back." Wang Lisha curled her lips, yawned, and said speechlessly, "Do I need to guess? Tingyu will definitely not come back. Tingyu and Wuxi already have boyfriends. Let their boyfriends treat us to dinner in the dormitory when school starts." Ding Shanshan asked curiously, "By the way, has any one of you seen Wuxi's boyfriend? His boyfriend is in our school. He should come to see Wuxi often." Su Tingro and Wang Lisha shook their heads and felt very strange in their hearts. They really had never seen Bai Wuxi's boyfriend. Deng Maiki thought for a moment and smiled, "I've seen him once." Ding Shanshan asked quickly, "Kikai, have you seen Wei 11's boyfriend? When did you see him? Tell me quickly. Is her boyfriend handsome?" Deng Maiki smiled and said, "It was before the military training, when school started. We had a freshman class meeting. At that time, I noticed that Wei 11 was staring out the window, as if waiting for someone, until a tall boy appeared and then Wei 11 cried sadly. Wei 11 seemed to be in a bad mood with her boyfriend at that time. I only saw him that time, not at other times." Ding Shanshan asked again, "What does his boyfriend look like?" Deng Maiki thought for a moment. Wei 11's boyfriend is very tall, about 1.8 meters tall, not very handsome, but very stylish, with fair skin. He looks like a sports student." Ding Shanshan, Wang Lisha, and Su Tingro felt more and more strange as they listened. It seemed like they were talking about another person. Wang Lisha looked at them curiously, "Shanshan, Tingro, do you think that Kikai's description is very similar to a boy?" Ding Shanshan's expression changed, and she looked at Wang Lisha and said, "Shasha, are you talking about Li Yuan?" Su Tingro frowned and added, "It is indeed a bit like Li Yuan. Maybe Tingyu and Wuxi like tall boys." Wang Lisha was even more confused. The boyfriends of her two roommates have the same name, are both online writers, and are both freshmen. They are so similar in figure and appearance. Is there really such a coincidence in the world? Wanlisha expressed considerable doubt. Thinking of the fact that Baiwaxi's boyfriend has never shown up in front of them, a bold idea came to her mind. This idea was so shocking that she didn't dare to think deeply. If it was really like what she thought, Baiwaxi and Zhong Tingyu had a common boyfriend. This was too unbelievable and too explosive. She couldn't imagine what kind of scene it would be. After this idea came up, it quickly took root in her heart, making her feel uncomfortable. Shan Shan, Ting Ro, Kikai, don't you think it's strange? Waxi's boyfriend is Li Yuan, an online writer, a freshman in our school, tall, like a sports student. Tingyu's boyfriend is also Li Yuan, also an online writer, also a freshman in our school, tall. Is there really such a coincidence in the world? Ding Shan Shan, Su Ting Ro, and Den Mikey all widened their eyes after hearing this. It's terrifying to think about it carefully. The more you think about it, the more you feel that it's full of coincidences. They are all 985 top students with top IQs. They know how small the probability of these factors stacking up is. To say that it's 1 in a million is too high. Ding Shanshan was shocked, even a little terrified, her voice was trembling. Could it be the same person? Su Tingro also felt unbelievable. No way, Wei 11 and Tingyu's boyfriends are both Li Yuan. Wanlisha frowned and said, this is just my guess, but I feel it is almost certain, it is very likely to be true. There are not so many coincidences in the world. If it is true, there will be a shocking news in our dormitory. The four girls' brains were a little down. The more they thought about it, the more they felt that it was the same person. Su Tingro frowned and said, in fact, it is easy to prove. We can find out by asking Wei 11. Tingyu's boyfriend Li Yuan is a freshman majoring in computer science this year. We have all seen him. Wei 11 must also know what major his boyfriend is. If Wei 11's boyfriend is also a freshman majoring in computer science, then it must be the same person. Or, just show Wei 11 the photo of Li Yuan, and you will know at a glance. Ding Shan Shan, Wanlisha, and others looked at each other. They seemed to have dug out the truth of the matter. Den Mikey frowned and said, so, we call Wei 11 now. Ding Shan Shan shook her head. It's already 12 o'clock in the evening. Wei 11 may have gone to bed. Wanlisha said, let's take a look at Wei 11's QQ space, and we will know. There should be photos of her boyfriend in her space. Den Mikey shook her head. I have seen it before, and there seems to be no photos in Wei 11's space album. Wanlisha was a little unconvinced. This shouldn't be possible. Wei 11 is living with her boyfriend, and there is not even a photo. Ding Shanshan suggested, I have seen it before, and it may have been hidden by Wei 11 before. Let's try again now. Wanlisha directly opened the laptop, logged into QQ, and entered by Wei 11's QQ space album. I suddenly exclaimed, look, there is indeed an album in Waxi's space, named Memory, but it is locked and can only be seen by answering questions. Wanlisha continued to check the album questions. A question was displayed on it. Who is the favorite person? Ding Shanshan shouted, Shasha, try to enter Li Yuan quickly. Wanlisha nervously entered the two words Li Yuan. The album was opened at once. Several people hurriedly looked at the photos in the album. There were dozens of photos, including group photos of Baiwaxi and individual photos of Li Yuan. When they found out the truth, they couldn't sit still. The person in the photo is really Li Yuan. There are group photos of Li Yuan and Waxi, which should be from high school. So, it's confirmed that Waxi and Tingyu's boyfriends are both Li Yuan. This is simply unbelievable. Several people looked at each other. They actually discovered a shocking secret. Ding Shanshan gnashed her teeth and cursed, Li Yuan is such a scumbag, he is too timing. Su Tingro also frowned and said, Li Yuan is too hateful, I still have a good impression of him, how could he do this? Wanglisha was very speechless. What should we do now? Tell Tingyu and Wuxi the truth. Tingyu also went out with Li Yuan. Ding Shanshan roared, I will tell Tingyu now. Chapter 145 By Wuxi asserts sovereignty, the girls are envious. Seeing Ding Shanshan was about to call Zhong Tingyu immediately, Su Tingro reached out to stop her. Shanshan, wait a minute, don't fight yet. Ding Shanshan looked at Su Tingro angrily and asked in confusion. Why? Su Tingro shook her head and said, I think we should calm down first and not be so impulsive. Ding Shanshan continued to curse, Li Yuan is a scumbag. He is too timing. How can I calm down? Su Tingro glanced at the furious Ding Shanshan and was very speechless. She wanted to say, it's not you who is a scumbag, why are you reacting so strongly? Although she was also very angry about Li Yuan's scumbag behavior, she also understood that telling Zhong Tingyu and Bai Wuxi at this time would be useless and would only lead to bad consequences. Let's discuss how to deal with this matter first. Even if we really want to tell them the truth, we have to wait until they return to the dormitory and tell them in person. It's already past midnight. If we call them now to tell them the truth, what if they can't get over it and we're not with them? If something really happens, who can be held responsible? Deng Mikey nodded in agreement. Tingro is right. It's too late now. If something really happens, we can't bear the responsibility. Wanglisha also echoed and reminded, Shan Shan, don't tell Tingyu and Wuxi yet. Let's discuss what to do first. Ding Shanshan frowned and gradually calmed down. What they said makes sense. It's late at night. What if Tingyu and Wuxi commit suicide because of the stimulation? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. If the confession fails, chase her bestie. Author, Ren Shenkui Ken Ru Xiahua. Chapter 199. This is really possible, and such things are often exposed on the internet. Due to emotional problems, suicides such as jumping off buildings, jumping into lakes, and cutting wrists are not uncommon, and they happen almost every once in a while. Although they are top students from 985 universities, who can tell about emotional matters. If they are really impulsive, it will cause irreparable losses. Wanglisha frowned, Li Yuan, this scumbag, he already has Wei 11, why would he chase Tingyu, does he know that Tingyu and Wei 11 are roommates? Su Tingro shook her head, I don't know, Li Yuan should not know. If he really knew that Tingyu and Wei 11 were roommates, and he did this deliberately, it would be too bad, it's unimaginable. Even if he goes to find girls from other schools, he can only say that he is a scumbag, not that he is bad. Ding Shanshan gritted her teeth and cursed, Li Yuan, this guy, didn't he just make some dirty money by writing books, he is such a scum and a villain. It's the 21st century, does he still want to have a harem? The protagonist Xiao Yan in his book is also a scumbag, and he has ambiguous relationships with several female characters, such as confidant, childhood sweetheart, beautiful master, and cold queen. It turns out that the author will write the kind of book he is. No man is a good thing, he eats what's in the bowl and still looks at the pot. Su Tingro glanced at Ding Shanshan speechlessly, what's the connection, aren't all male-oriented novels like that? Li Yuan's writing is relatively restrained. If you look at female-oriented novels, they are also building harems in reverse, it's the same for each other. It's just a novel, it's too much to substitute it into reality. She sighed, what do you think we should do now? Wanglisha also sighed and replied, let's wait for Tingyu and Wuxi to return to the dormitory, and then we can tell her in person. At that time, we can also persuade and enlighten them not to do stupid things. It will be better with us by their side. Denmiki nodded, I agree with Sasha's statement, so let's wait for Wuxi, Tingyu, and others to come back. Okay, that's it? Everything will be said in person after seeing them. Feikui Mansion Community. Early in the morning, the sky was just getting light. Bai Wuxi woke up in a daze, glanced at the bedside, and there was no trace of Li Yuan. She shouted to the living room, husband, husband. No response. Bai Wuxi quickly put on her silk pajamas and searched the study, living room, kitchen, and bathroom, but still could not find Li Yuan. Strange, where did Li Yuan go? Why did he disappear when I woke up? Did he go downstairs to buy breakfast? She was holding her phone and was about to call Li Yuan when she saw an unread text message from Li Yuan. Xiaobai, there is an emergency at my company, so I can't accompany you today. If you are free, you can go to Yuchen to play. Bai Wuxi looked at the text message sent by Li Yuan and felt relieved. With a smile on her face, although she wanted to stay with Li Yuan very much, she was also a sensible girl. She knew that Li Yuan's work was also very important, so she quickly replied. Well, my husband has worked hard. Kiss and hug. I will wait for you to come back at home. Click and send. After waiting for a while, Li Yuan still did not reply. Bai Wuxi stretched and came to the balcony, looking out the window, feeling particularly happy. Yesterday, Li Yuan bought her a sports car that cost more than 700,000 yuan, making her feel that she was the happiest woman in the world. When she was in high school, all her ultimate dreams had come true when she first entered college. Settling down in Shanghai, owning a house and a car, and not having to worry about food, clothing, housing, and transportation is her ideal. My parents came from their hometown this morning and arrived around 1 p.m. Should I tell them that I'm in love? They should be very satisfied with Li Yuan, having such an excellent son-in-law. He, will my father be very sad that his little cotton-padded jacket was taken away by another man? Will Li Yuan be very nervous if he meets my parents? Bai Wuxi thought about that scene in her mind and felt it was very interesting. Her parents loved her very much and always treated her, their only daughter, as the apple of their eye. From childhood to adulthood, they gave her the best life in all aspects. It can be said that she grew up being spoiled by her parents. She has always been very competitive. From childhood to adulthood, her grades have never been among the top 3 in the class, and she was admitted to a 985 university in Shanghai as she wished. Just when Bai Wuxi was imagining Li Yuan meeting his parents, a phone call suddenly came in. It was from her roommate Wang Lisha. Bai Wuxi smiled and answered the call immediately. Shasha, why are you calling me so early in the morning? On the other end of the phone, Wang Lisha resisted the urge to tell Bai Wuxi the truth immediately and tried to ask in a calm tone. Wuxi, where are you? Bai Wuxi was in a good mood and didn't hear anything wrong with Wang Lisha's tone. She smiled and answered. Shasha, I'm at home, what's wrong? In her heart, she had already regarded this place as her and Li Yuan's home. Wang Lisha asked, are you with your boyfriend? Bai Wuxi nodded, yeah. Wang Lisha felt a little strange. Wasn't Li Yuan with Zhong Tingyu last night? Although she was confused, Wang Lisha didn't ask further. Wuxi, are you going back to school today? Bai Wuxi shook his head, I won't go back to school today. My parents will come over in the afternoon. Sasha, why is your tone so weird? Is there something you want to tell me? Wang Lisa felt a little disappointed, but also a little happy, because she didn't know how to talk to Bai Wuxi about this. No, I just asked when you would come back. Bai Wuxi replied with a smile, oh, I thought something was wrong with you. Just be fine. If you have any questions, be sure to tell me. Wang Lisa resisted the urge to tell Bai Wuxi the truth, calmed down, and said with a smile, okay, I understand, then you and your boyfriend can have a good time. Sasha, bye. After hanging up the phone, Wixie frowned. She had a good relationship with her roommates and had a general understanding of their family situations. Wang Lisa has a pretty good family. She comes from a county in the southern Zhejiang province. I heard that her parents are both working. Shasha's tone is a little strange today. Are you a little tight on money and embarrassed? Wixie muttered that this was just her guess, but Wang Lisa didn't speak, and she was too embarrassed to take the initiative to ask. I washed up, cooked some porridge and had some breakfast. Wixie came to the study room, opened the computer that Li Yuan used to code, logged into his QQ, connected his mobile phone to the computer with a data cable, and transferred the pictures taken yesterday to the space album. These photos were all taken yesterday when she and Li Yuan were driving together. There were photos of the two holding hands in a sports car, and there were also photos taken at the BMW flagship store. Then, she sent a message, accompanied by pictures and text. Thank you brother for the gift, it's great to have you in this life. Would it be a bit too high profile to make such a public announcement? Whatever, our classmates and friends all know about my relationship with him, and there is nothing to hide. When my parents come in the afternoon, if they want to ask, I will tell them. Send it like this. After Wixie clicked send, she didn't follow Li Yuan's instructions and called Wang Yuchen to invite her to play. For some reason, she suddenly felt that it was not good for Wang Yuchen to come to this house too many times. During dinner last night, she felt that Wang Yuchen's attitude towards Li Yuan seemed to have changed. Thinking about the accident that happened that night, she instinctively didn't want Wang Yuchen and Li Yuan to get too close. Let's read at home this morning and pick up my parents at noon. After Wang Lisa called Wixie, she looked helplessly at Ding Shanshan, Su Tingro, and Den Mikey beside her. You also heard what Wei 11 just said. She said she was with Li Yuan. From her tone, she seems very happy. If the confession fails, chase her bestie. Author, Ren Shenkui Kan Ru Xiahua. Chapter 200. Ding Shanshan frowned. She had just called Zhong Tingyu. Zhong Tingyu seemed to be still asleep and also said that she was with her boyfriend. So, there are two Li Yuans now. Or, one of Zhong Tingyu and Wixie is lying? Su Tingro said, ahem, things are getting weirder and weirder. Are there really two Li Yuans? Or does Li Yuan know how to clone himself, or has a twin brother who looks exactly the same? But there are no such coincidences in the world. The four looked at each other and felt helpless. Let's wait until they come back. It's useless for us to be anxious. Because of what was discovered last night, the girls in the dormitory did not go out to play today. Wang Lisha was logging into the computer and suddenly found a reminder of the special concern friends dynamic. Hey, it's Wixie, she posted a new dynamic. Wang Lisha subconsciously clicked in to take a look. She was shocked when she saw it. Wixie added 3 pictures and a sentence. Who gave Wei 11 a gift? It's actually a sports car. Isn't Wei 11 an only child? Why does she have a brother? This sports car looks familiar. It seems to be a BMW Z4 sports car, which costs 600,000 or 700,000 yuan. How can Wei 11 afford it? The back figure in this picture looks a bit like Li Yuan. Could it be that the brother Wei 11 mentioned is Li Yuan? Is this sports car given to Wei 11 by Li Yuan? Wang Lisha was stunned and shouted loudly, Shan Shan, Tingro, Chi Chi, come and see. Den Mikey leaned over and looked at the photo of Li Yuan and Wei 11 and the picture of the sports car displayed on the computer. Den Mikey widened her eyes and showed an unbelievable look on her face. She said in a daze, is this the sports car Wei 11 bought? Wang Lisha nodded, her voice trembling, this should be a gift from Li Yuan to Wei 11. Den Mikey gritted her teeth and widened her eyes, Li Yuan gave Wei 11 a sports car? Why does it feel so unreal? Suddenly I feel a little sour. Shasha, Kikai, what are you discussing? Ding Shanshan and Su Tingro asked curiously and came over. Two people were stunned again. Ding Shanshan murmured to herself, Wei 11 bought a car. Is it a BMW Z4 sports car? Pinch me quickly, are you dreaming? Are we living in the same world? Su Tingro's eyes showed a strange look. She looked at Bai Wei 11's happy and sweet smile and suddenly envied her. She roughly understood Bai Wei 11's family situation. An ordinary teacher family in a small county could not afford to buy her a sports car worth hundreds of thousands. There was only one possibility. Li Yuan bought it for her. Judging from that sentence, it should be true. This car must have been bought by Li Yuan for Wuxi. Wang Lisha felt it was unreal, thinking that Bai Wuxi seemed to be in a good mood when she called. She understood it immediately. If there was a boy who could buy her a sports car, she would be happy for the rest of her life and would offer herself without hesitation. That was not a bag, a set of clothes, or a lipstick. It was a sports car worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, which many people could not drive in their lifetime. Wang Lisha looked at the album that Bai Wuxi had just updated, and entered Li Yuan. In this secret album, there were more than 10 more photos of Li Yuan and Bai Wuxi together. There were many pictures of Bai Wuxi nervously learning to drive, which should have been taken by Li Yuan. After accepting the fact that Li Yuan gave Bai Wuxi a sports car, the four girls aged 18 or 19 were silent for a while. Looking at each other, they all saw the complexity in each other's eyes and the unconcealed envy. Sports cars are not only liked by boys, but also by girls. Which girl doesn't want to own a sports car of her own? They are only 18 or 19 years old, and they are looking forward to their future life the most, and they feel that everything is possible. However, they dare not think about buying a sports car. Denmiki stroked her hair, bit her lip, and said with emotion, I think, although Li Yuan is a scumbag, he is really good to Wei 11. He is willing to spend 600,000 or 700,000 yuan to buy a sports car for his girlfriend. If someone can give me one, I will follow him for the rest of my life. Wang Lisha also nodded and sighed, who would have thought of this? From this perspective, Li Yuan is really generous. If he is not a scumbag, he is really a perfect ideal boyfriend. But why is he a scumbag? Ding Shanshan, who scolded Li Yuan for half the night last night, suddenly fell silent at this time. They are all adults, their families are very ordinary, and they live in the big city of Shanghai. They dare not even think about sports cars worth 600,000 or 700,000 yuan. Their monthly living expenses were only 600-700 yuan. And the sports car that Li Yuan gave them was enough for them to spend for 100 years. The huge gap gave them a huge shock. Wang Lisha suddenly said something that made Ding Shanshan, Su Tingro, and Denmiki all fall into thought. If we were Wei 11 or Ting Yu, what should we do if we encountered this situation? Should we break up with Li Yuan directly and never contact each other again, or turn a blind eye and pretend not to know? Or should we take the initiative to withdraw and give Li Yuan to the other party? Ding Shanshan sneered, if it were me, I would definitely break up. I can't tolerate sharing a boyfriend with other girls. Su Tingro also nodded, I should also break up, love is very selfish. Denmiki looked at Ding Shanshan and Su Tingro deeply, and didn't say anything, but her silence meant that she had made a choice. Wang Lisha sighed with emotion, this is a bit difficult to choose. She thought about the wide balcony in Bai Wuxi's space album. The other party seemed to have lived with Li Yuan and should have bought a house in Shanghai. Suddenly she asked again. What if Li Yuan gave another house in Shanghai? The three of them were silent in an instant, which made it even more difficult to choose. They knew how high the housing prices in Shanghai were. Generally, the prices in a slightly better location were all above 10,000. A 3-bedroom house, plus decoration, would cost at least more than 1 million. Even if they graduate now, they may not be able to afford it even if they work for 10 years without eating or drinking. Su Tingro suddenly said curiously, guess, Li Yuan gave Wei 11 a sports car himself. Will he also give one to Ting Yu? Ding Shan nodded very affirmatively. I saw Ting Yu searching for cars online these 2 days. I didn't care at the time, but now I think it should be Li Yuan who promised Ting Yu. Haha, Li Yuan, this scumbag, really wants to treat everyone equally. He gave a car if he wanted to. Now I really want to know what choice Ting Yu and Wei 11 will make if they know. Give up, or accept it? Li Yuan didn't know that his scumbag behavior had been completely exposed. Because he was too tired last night, he hugged Zhong Tingyu and slept until more than 9 in the morning before waking up. Feeling Zhong Tingyu in his arms, Li Yuan's hands couldn't help but rub her 2 nipples. He was a little hungry and wanted to have breakfast. Eat when you say eat. Following Li Yuan's action, Zhong Tingyu also woke up from her coma. Then, they were thrown into a war without gunpowder. When the two finished playing poker, it was already past 11 in the morning. Li Yuan teased, Xiao Yu, can you still get out of bed? Zhong Tingyu blushed and glared at him. Just when she wanted to get up, her body hurt and she couldn't struggle at all.